Hi, so I want to show you a free energy device, and variants of this are actually going around the net even now. This particular one was actually a few years old, but you see the same kind of thing being done all of the time actually. Now all you need is a couple of coils. The first coil is just a straight coil. You can make it by winding it on a former. The second coil is actually a conical coil. You can use a conical former, or you can just wind it inside itself as a flat coil, like a pancake coil. And when you've formed that coil, stretch it out. And you want to stretch it out to the same size, there we go, as the straight coil that you made. So we have two coils, one a straight coil, two a conical coil, and we fit the straight coil inside the conical coil and join those two pieces together. So there's my two coils wired together. Now what we need to do is get a magnet and attach it to the inner coil at the center of the inner coil, and we can do that just by hot gluing it in. So that's all there is to it, and now we've done that, it's busy collecting energy. So let's just choose a light bulb and we can clip a couple of wires to it and we should be able to light that light bulb. And there you go. Okay, so we've made a free energy generator that can light a light bulb. Now, what we normally get on these kind of videos is some random explanation about why that doesn't work, why that works. It's something about oscillations and all that sort of stuff, and frequencies and, you know, stuff that sounds sort of right. But this thing actually is where it is. It's a prop. You see that quite often. This thing makes absolutely no difference at all, and they make these amazingly complicated aerials and antennas coming off and all kinds of coil arrangements and magnet arrangements, and none of that matters. All of that is just to divert your attention in the way that every good magic trick does. So I did something really simple, but that is nothing more than a switch actually. All I've done then is connect this and this, and as long as that's a continuous piece of wire in some description or other, that light bulb will light. This is sold in magic shops. It's sold in magic shops because if I hold it in my hand in a certain way, if I can get that to work, there we go, it magically lights while I hold it in my hand. And of course it lights when I hold it in my hand, there we go, if I rest it on my wedding ring. So as long as I rest that on my wedding ring, or make my fingers conductive by maybe wetting them with salt or something like that, we have a magic light bulb that lights up when you hold it, because of course there's a battery inside. And the battery is wired to this point and this point, so as long as I make a short between those 2 points, that will light. Now, it's obvious there's a battery hidden inside this one because we've got a great big plastic case, and there is an LED light with a couple of CR2032s glued in there to make sure that it does light as long as I close those contacts. You might think, well, that's a bit obvious because that's a big lump of plastic, and sure, but if you think about a normal Edison screw, which is that size, or a bayonet fitting, which is that size, you can get CR2032s in there very, very easily. And of course, have you ever seen some watch batteries? This watch battery, there we go, it's an absolutely tiny thing. Now it won't last very long. 3 of those is enough to light that, 2 of those is enough to light that LED. So I could get 2 of those, 3 of those in something that small, no problem at all. So the fact that it's got a bit of plastic on it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. If it was like that, I could have done it using the watch batteries. And of course we do that with a motor as well. You can hide batteries in a motor. So for a lot of these, with these ridiculous arrangements, the trick, in inverted commas, isn't in the construction. The construction doesn't matter at all. It's really whatever you want to dream up. The trick is in the construction of the prop that appears to be randomly chosen. So a light bulb or a motor that you just pick off of your bench, and it's been pre-rigged with some batteries, and you're just closing those 2 contacts, and that's how those kind of things work. Now, I'm obviously not rubbishing free energy researchers. Free energy researchers, to my mind, are people who are committed to what it is that they're doing, and they have faith and they have belief and they have a method with which they approach things, and they have an objective, and that objective is genuine. What I'm rubbishing is all those people who just want clickbait videos where they're doing a magic trick for you. This actually is a well-known magic trick. The Masked Magician did this with a light bulb. What he did was he hid an LED in his hand here, so when you hold it with your hand, the LED shines on the phosphor and it lights up. These will also light up if you shine a laser on them. So very often you find a laser hidden off, and they'll talk about how you've got to get it just right, and they'll hold it in the path of the laser and the thing will phosphoresce. These things, of course, if you have a Tesla coil or a high voltage source, are going to phosphoresce. So there's lots of ways of doing that trick where instead of it being this bit that's the manipulated bit, it's the prop that gets lit. So when you're looking at these things, have a look at the prop. Can the prop somehow be hiding that battery or electrical source? Because very often it can be. So it's either the construction or the prop that hides it. Anyway, I thought I'd do that. I hope it was of interest to you, and thank you very much for watching. Oh, please remember to like and subscribe.